Yes, people, what's good and welcome back to the channel. So today, guys, I'm just gonna let you know what my intentions are after receiving my ICP results from Triton. Now, if you haven't done so, guys, make sure you click that bell icon so you get the latest updates as to when I upload videos onto this channel. So what is an ICP test? In my own words, an ICP test is an in-depth report about your water quality. Yeah, simple as that. Right, so you send off a sample to a company, they analyze it and tell you exactly what's lacking, what's too much, and ways you can go around rectifying it so you can reflect salt water or seawater. Yeah, so remember, we are keeping corals in I would say not a fake environment, but an environment that's not a natural environment. We try to mimic nature, and doing things like ICP tests and testing our water regularly will allow us to keep our corals and fish and inverts really happy so we can see our nice, beautiful aquariums. Now, if you guys aren't aware, I have gone the exact opposite of what I've been preaching. I've been saying, yeah, regular water changes every week to see a healthy aquarium. Yeah, that can work. But what I've been reading and watching YouTube videos, and I realized one thing that does make sense, that if you have 100 liters of water and you replace 10%, which is 10 liters of water, you only put in back 10% or 10 liters worth of what was depleted. So then there could be a greater amount of depleted trace elements that you aren't replenishing. And a good way to find out exactly what is being depleted in your aquarium is an ICP test. So that's why I think if you haven't done one with your reef aquarium, I'm just suggesting you guys should really check it out and send off one ICP test so you know exactly what's going on with your water. Now, back in the day, ATI used to be my brand for ICP tests. Now, I love ATI, but they just take too darn long for the ICP test results. So a friend of mine recommended Triton, and I was amazed and pleased how quick I got my results. I mean, I sent it on a Monday, and on the Thursday it was uploaded, ready for me to have a look. So that means by the weekend I ordered all my stuff and I was doing my necessary corrections for my aquarium water. Now, I was kind of shocked of what came out from the ICP test. For example, potassium, I thought I was like the Don Dada when it comes to potassium, that I was testing every weekend. I was where I needed to be. How wrong was I, guys? I was actually very low with my potassium, and it recommended that I dose a certain amount back into my tank. So for potassium, I'm doing 1 drop every day to keep up with my demand of my corals. Also things like zinc, I'm doing 1 drop of zinc as well. I didn't know that corals needed zinc, so that's something I'm dosing at the moment. Manganese, I was aware of manganese, but I didn't know whether I needed to dose it. So I'm doing 2 drops of manganese, which was recommended by Triton because it says so many mils equals a couple of drops. So yeah, manganese 2 drops. Flourine, I'm doing 2 drops daily as well. And vanadium, yeah, weird blue looking color, but I'm doing 1 drop of vanadium, and it seems to be doing really good things for the corals. There are a couple of things that I have continued to dose from the last ICP test I had, like strontium and iodine, yeah, and the corals are responding well to those as well. There is one particular element that was recommended that I dose by Triton, and I'm not going to touch it, is nickel, and it says that nickel is a very dangerous trace element, so I'm staying away from that. I don't want to cause any damage or any harm to my aquarium. Now, after speaking with ATI, they stated that you can run a system without regular water changes using their products. So what I've done is I've focused mainly on replenishing what was depleted, and ATI suggested that I need to keep on top of the nutrients for the system. So knowing this, what I do is I test my NO3 and my PO4, and the sweet spot for me is about 3 ppm for my NO3 and about 0.06 for my PO4. So if I recognize that my NO3 or PO4 is going above what I think is recommended or acceptable, that my tank is responding well to, I will start dosing carbon. So as a new routine now, I'm dosing carbon every week, just a couple of drops, and testing about twice a week just to ensure I've got the amount dialed in. Now, what I've noticed with dosing ATI Essentials, that if I don't dose my N and P into the system, that my nutrients deplete or get low very quickly. Like over a couple of days, I will be hitting like dangerously low numbers for my NO3 and my PO4. Some people have suggested that ATI has some sort of carbon in their solutions 1 and 2 that helps with nutrients, keeping it low, hence the reason for dosing N and P. So currently I'm still dosing N and P at 6 mil throughout the day. So that's just spread out throughout the day. I'm using the D&D Pro doser to ensure that, you know, my ratios or my nutrients are kept within what is recommended by my ICP tests. So moving forward, guys, let's talk about ATI Essentials Pro. So I have been dosing ATI Essentials Pro into my aquarium for a couple of months, and I really complicated such an easy process of implementing this into the system. I should just listen to what ATI said and dose at a ratio of 1:4, and eventually I had to do that, which worked out really well, although I lost a couple of corals in the process of my stupidity. So currently I'm dosing about 132 ml into the aquarium every day, and I said the whole point of me going from Aquaforce to ATI was to lessen this amount into the aquarium. So I decided, you know, after a couple of quick math tips from my daughter, to break it down into what I dosed over 24 hours and divide that by 5, which led me to have a ratio of 1.1 mil every hour. So to err on the side of caution, I didn't want to overdo it, so I decided to dose 1 mil into my aquarium every hour. So that's 1 mil of alkalinity, 1 mil of calcium separately. So alkalinity is at 1 a.m, calcium is at 1:30, just to avoid precipitation. And my alkalinity has really stabilized around 8.2 throughout the day. Nighttime it drops to about 7.98, and my calcium has been a steady 457 to about 470 throughout the day. So that's really a plus for switching from the diluted version of ATI Essentials Pro to the concentrate. And I realized that by dosing 1 ml every hour of part 1 and part 2, I have literally almost 2 months worth of solution in my aquarium, in my dosing container, so I don't have to worry about replenishing every 7 days, which I was doing with the diluted version. So yeah, respect ATI, thank you. Patience does pay off. Now guys, just a brief overview of my lighting. Right now all my channels are almost at either 100% or 60% apart from my red and green. My red and green sit about 15% each, but my whites, they're about 60%, and I tell you what, the corals are responding really nicely to it. Now anyone who's messing around with their lighting or just in their lighting, do it, I would say every 3 weeks to a month. You adjust it a couple, maybe 10% or something, because you don't want to shock your corals at the end of the day. And you know, the ratio or the program that I'm running now, my corals are responding really well with what's being dosed through advice of the ICP results and what I'm dosing via the ATI Essentials Pro. And I'm also doing AB Plus in the system just to keep up with amino acids and monitoring my nutrients every week. Yeah guys, so that there is the update. Thank you so much guys for watching. This is Naran for HC Aquatics Reefing. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.